The dream we all had when the Indianapolis Colts drafted that explosive young playmaker from Florida feels like a lifetime ago. We wanted a franchise savior, but instead we are facing a reality that nobody expected. The trade market has completely vanished, and the phone in the front office has stopped ringing. This is a turning point for our organization, and frankly, it is a tough pill for every diehard fan to swallow right now. The vibe in the building has shifted from hope to a very awkward silence. Indeed, Anthony Richardson is currently stuck in a professional limbo that has left the local fan base completely divided. It was only February when the news broke that the former first-round selection had requested a trade, and the front office actually gave him the green light to go find a new home. But as we stand here today, that search has hit a brick wall. The market has dried up, and the potential landing spots like the Green Bay Packers or the San Francisco 49ers have filled their needs with other veterans. While this is happening, Daniel Jones is now firmly entrenched as the starter for our Colts, having secured a massive 2-year extension worth $88 million earlier this offseason. This move by the team makes it crystal clear that the vision for the future no longer revolves around the young man we took 4th overall just a few years ago. It is a messy situation because the team opted not to pick up the 5th-year option on his rookie deal, which essentially makes him a lame duck in the locker room. Both the player and his agent, Derek Jackson, were hoping for a fresh start somewhere else to revive a career that has been plagued by injuries and inconsistent play. However, after the Packers signed Tyrod Taylor and other teams like the Rams and Cardinals finalized their depth charts, there is simply nowhere left for him to go. This means he will likely report to voluntary workouts this week and prepare to be a backup. The organization really wanted to salvage some trade value from their massive investment, but the reality is that the rest of the league watched the tape and saw the same struggles we did. Now, we are looking at a scenario where a former top 5 pick is sitting 3rd or 2nd on the depth chart behind a high-priced veteran. It is not the outcome anyone wanted when he first arrived with those elite physical tools. The drama that has followed him in the Circle City has been exhausting for the coaching staff and the fans alike. We are now witnessing the slow conclusion of a chapter that promised so much but delivered so little on the field right now. The pure athleticism of this young quarterback was never in doubt, but the fundamental mechanics and the ability to process complex defenses simply haven't progressed at the rate the coaching staff expected. When you look at the film, you see the flashes of brilliance, but they are often followed by head-scratching decisions or physical mistakes that stall drives. The locker room knows how much potential is hidden there, but they also see the stability that a veteran presence brings to the huddle. Keeping him on the roster creates a unique tension because the shadow of his draft pedigree will always loom over the practice field. If he stays, he has to find a way to reinvent himself as a student of the game rather than just a physical specimen. The speculation about his future has been a cloud over the facility for months, and now that he is forced to stay, the pressure to perform in limited reps is higher than ever. There is a legitimate question about how this affects the chemistry between the players. It is one thing to have a young prospect learning behind a starter, but it is another thing entirely to have a disgruntled former starter who wants to be elsewhere. The playstyle that once made him a human highlight reel has also led to durability concerns that can't be ignored by the front office. Every time he took off for a big run, the entire stadium held its breath, and more often than not, those hits took a toll on his availability. This lack of reliability is a major reason why the league didn't jump at the chance to trade for him. He has to prove that he can be a professional backup who supports the room rather than a distraction. The what-if scenarios are endless, but the cold hard truth is that the needle hasn't moved in the right direction. The coaching staff is now tasked with managing a high-profile athlete who knows his time as the face of the franchise is over. It is a delicate balance that requires maturity from both the player and the organization as they navigate the final year of this partnership. This situation really matters because it changes how our team handles the most important position in sports. For a long time, we were waiting for a miracle, but now we have to face the facts. Having a former top pick sitting on the bench could help us win more games if the starter gets hurt, but it could also create a lot of noise that we don't need. When a team spends that much money on a veteran, they want a quiet, focused environment. If this young quarterback isn't happy, it could make things very uncomfortable for everyone. On the other hand, look at the risk of failure. If we let him go for nothing, we lose a huge investment. But if we keep him and he doesn't improve his basic skills, we are wasting a roster spot that could go to someone who wants to be here. The consequences are simple. Our season could be saved by his talent, or it could be ruined by the drama surrounding his trade request. We have seen this story before in the NFL where a talented player feels like he needs a new city to find his spark. When that doesn't happen, the player often loses his confidence. And that is a dangerous place to be. For the fans who have bought the jerseys and cheered his name, it is a heartbreak to see things fall apart like this. We want to see the team succeed, and having this cloud hanging over the quarterback room is a major risk. If he can't win the backup job, it shows that the draft pick was a total loss, and that hurts the team's ability to build for the future. The direct outcome is that we are now relying on a high-priced veteran and hoping the young guy doesn't cause a stir. It is about winning and losing, and right now, the uncertainty makes it harder to feel good about the direction of the offense. We need leaders who are fully committed, and when someone asks to leave, it is hard to trust them when they are forced to stay. This is about the heart of the team and whether we can move past this and just play football. Let's look at the best-case scenario. If this works, the young athlete embraces his new role. He spends every hour in the film room. He fixes his footwork. He learns from the veteran ahead of him. Then, if an injury happens, he steps onto the field and finally looks like the superstar we envisioned. He saves the season. He rebuilds his value. He earns a massive contract somewhere else next year. That would be a dream come true for everyone. But if it fails, the results will be devastating. Imagine a locker room where the backup is visibly frustrated. He misses a red in practice. He mopes during meetings. The tension grows every single week. The media asks questions about his trade request every single day. The starter feels the pressure and starts making mistakes. The whole season collapses under the weight of a quarterback controversy that shouldn't even exist. We are talking about a total disaster for the culture of this team. If he can't even beat out the other young prospects on the roster, like Riley Leonard, then his career in Indy is effectively dead. The stakes are incredibly high right now. The difference between a focused backup and a distracted one is the difference between a playoff run and a losing season. The fans are watching closely. We are waiting to see if he shows up to minicamp with a chip on his shoulder or a frown on his face. History tells us that moves like this either build a team's character or destroy their focus. The tension in the air is thick. Every pass in practice will be analyzed. Every comment to the press will be dissected. We are one play away from this being the biggest story in the NFL for all the wrong reasons. If he succeeds, we have the best insurance policy in the league. If he fails, we have a locker room fire that will be hard to put out. It is a high-stakes gamble that the front office is forced to take because nobody else wanted to trade for him. The pressure is on, and the clock is ticking for a young man who is running out of chances to prove he belongs in the starting lineup. In the end, the situation with our former first-round pick is a sobering reminder of how fast things change in this league. We went from thinking we had the next great superstar to wondering if he can even win the backup job. It is a tough spot for everyone involved. The trade market is gone, and the path forward is narrow and difficult. He is still on the team, but the trust has been broken. Now, I want to hear from you. Be honest. Would you still trust him to lead this team if the starter goes down? Or are you ready to move on completely to someone like Riley Leonard? It is a hard question for any fan who wanted him to succeed so badly. We are all feeling the weight of this decision. If you love the Colts and want to stay updated on every twist and turn of this quarterback saga, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. Turn on your notifications so you never miss an insider update. Smash the like button if you think the team is making the right move by keeping him for one more year. It really matters significantly.